So I thought I would do a presentation on quickly estimating repairs. Somebody last time asked me to do this, and I thought, yeah, this would be pretty helpful. So here's what we're looking at. So I like to listen to the Bigger Pockets podcast, as I'm sure a lot of you do. And I really like how Brandon will talk about the deal funnel. And that's just a really good, visual for me. So I thought it would help with this. So if you've got the funnel, right at the top is where you're looking at, to get one deal, maybe 100 to 200 homes, and you're trying to sort through them, right? Is this close to the 1% rule? Does this look like it's going to make sense? And then once something seems to work, like before you've gone to look at it, if you're just looking at it, online or whatever your wholesaler sent or your realtor sent, yeah, this looks good. This meets the 1% rule. This will cash flow, and you're going to do some more due diligence, right? So your next step is to usually visit the property or have your agent visit the property for you. And so that's what we're talking about today, that light blue box there. Does this deal make sense? And so in order to figure this out, you need to be able to do not an exact scope of work. This is the stage where you're just walking through and you're kind of, saying yes or no. And it doesn't mean that you're saying, yes, I'm going to buy it, or no, I'm not. It means, yes, I'm going to continue and do more due diligence and figure out if this is a good deal for me. And so you don't need to take a contractor through the house at this point in the game, right? Because first of all, if you take a contractor to every house that's at this stage, you're going to lose your contractor because they're going to get annoyed with you. You just want to get an idea of, okay, is this within the realm of possibilities, right? And so that's the kind of thing that we're looking at today. What I'm going to talk about is definitely not a for sure number. These aren't going to be, you can hang your hat on like, this is going to be my budget. You always are going to do more due diligence and have an inspection and have professionals come through and tell you, okay, yeah, there's this issue, or, but it's good to kind of go through and know some of these. So all of that being said, the first are the big three. So these are the ones that you really need to look out for. The roof, the HVAC, that's the air conditioning system, and the foundation. Okay, so you need to, as you're walking up to the home to look at it, take a look at the roof. If you are interested in knowing more about like how to look for these major problems, I did a presentation about that a couple of months ago, and it is on my YouTube channel. I will put that in the notes on this YouTube video when it's published, so that you can go back and watch that. But we talked about like how to spot a bad roof, how to spot a bad foundation, how to spot bad HVAC. So definitely brush up on those, be able to know the difference between a good roof and a bad roof, and be able to know like if a foundation is fishy. Those are really good skills as an investor that you have to have. And then these are the numbers. So again, your roof is not necessarily going to be $7,000. I had a roof replaced on a small 1,200 square foot home a couple years ago for $4,000. But I've seen them more on like big 2-story gigantic homes. So it's definitely going to fluctuate quite a bit, but $7,000 is just what I use as like a starting point. So when I'm walking through the home, I'm doing just mental math, or maybe I'll have a notebook, and I'm just getting these costs together just really quickly. So roof is $7,000. HVAC, there's two amounts there. So the $5,000 is if there is a system already and you're just replacing it. Okay, so that would cost $5,000 because you're actually just replacing the actual machine. If you're buying a home, which there are quite a few in San Antonio, I can't understand how it's so hot here, but I see homes all the time that don't have an HVAC. If it doesn't have one at all, bump that number up to $10,000, because then you're going to have to do the duct work. You're going to have to do electrical work. The electrical work could involve more things. It's just going to cost about $10,000. Could be less, could be a lot less if it's a small home, but when you're first looking, let's do $10,000. And then the same on foundation, 10,000. Again, depends on the size of the home and the amount of work it needs, but 10,000 is kind of a good round number to use. Okay, then we're on to cosmetic repairs. So you've got the big three. Those are kind of the systems that you have to check off first. And then as you're walking through the home, you're going to be looking at, okay, what do I need to replace or update to make this attractive to renters or buyers if you're flipping. So I just kind of use round numbers. If it's a kitchen, if I have to totally replace everything in the kitchen, I use $10,000. Now, if you're doing an upscale flip in a really nice area or a gigantic kitchen, that's going to be more. That's going to be a lot more. But for a rental house, if you're doing like a burr deal and you're just putting laminate countertops, you know, stock cabinets, regular, you know, not stainless steel appliances, just kind of regular, cheaper finishes, then $10,000 is a pretty good number. And then the same thing goes with bathrooms. So $5,000 is what I use with bathrooms. Again, could be more, could be less. It depends on how nice you want to go and how large the bathroom is. But this is a nice system that I use because I'm walking through the house and I'm like, okay, the roof, that's 7,000. The kitchen's 10, and I got to do 2 bathrooms. That's another 10. So we're already at 27,000, you know, and that kind of tells me, all right, this deal, I don't need to look at a whole bunch of other things. I don't need to run a bunch of numbers because this deal stinks. It's not going to work, you know, or, okay, yeah, this still seems like it might work. I can get it low enough to make sense. And then here's a few other things. So painting, I use $2 to $3 per square foot. $2 if I'm just doing walls, $3 if I'm doing ceilings as well. You might want to add, if you have to like scrape the popcorn off the ceilings, you might want to add another dollar. But yeah, $2 to $3 is great for painting. $6 to $7 per square foot on flooring. That could be lower if you do like carpet. And then 6 to 7 is typically what it is on like that vinyl wood plank. That's why I have that in the photo. That's kind of what I've been paying in the last couple of months for that. And then windows and doors, 50 to 300. That's a big range, but 50 is if you can just take out the glass and just have a glass company just replace the pane of glass. That's 50. Or like on a door, if you just have to replace the knob or something like that. If you have to replace the whole thing, the whole window, the whole door, it's more like 300. Could be more if it's like a giant window or a weird sized window. But just when you're doing this quick walkthrough and you just want to get the numbers really quick, I would just use 50 or 300. And then I always put in an extra $1,000 for miscellaneous things, because there's just always so many like tiny little things that you don't notice until you're wrapping up the job. Air conditioning vents, doorknobs, just all these tiny things that really don't show up on a scope of work but end up needing to be done. So I use that for miscellaneous. And then exterior, just $200 to $1,000. You know, 200 if you just need to get the lawn mowed a couple of times and it's in good shape, maybe some power washing. Up to 1,000 if you need to like repaint or do some landscaping or build a fence. If you have to do a fence, it could be even more than 1,000. So that is going to vary quite a bit. But that's just kind of some rough numbers there.